What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this new project from Logic called Supermarket. Now, this project is actually the soundtrack to go along with his book by the same title, and I'm not going to do a big intro here because I think everybody already knows who Logic is. If you're wondering how I feel about Logic, I think Under Pressure is his best work, and since then he's been much more missed than hit. But hey, he dropped something new, everybody's talking about it, so naturally I had to check it out for myself and see how it was sounding. Now, I will say there are a couple of songs on here that I think are decent. The tracks DeLorean and I'm Probably Gonna Rock Your World fit that usual Logic mold of delivering smooth tracks with sing-songy flows. Nothing amazing, but I thought they were alright. And despite the misleading title and not needing to be 7 minutes long, Bohemian Rhapsody worked as a nice intro because it does have a bit of bounce to it. I'm not saying these are tracks I go out of my way to listen to and put in my playlist, but they do work with what Logic normally does, and they sounded alright. With the track Can I Kick It, we get Juto delivering some of the album's best vocals while Logic is actually remixing an old A Tribe Called Quest hook from the song that has the same title as this, Can I Kick It? And of course, Logic is coming through with some biracial bars, because there are 3 things in life that are certain: death, taxes, and Logic rapping about being biracial. He spits that he's mixed chocolate and vanilla, not even an interesting take on it, and people are saying this was just for comedic effect. But for it to be for comedic effect, it would have to be funny in the first place. This is basically just Logic trolling at this point, I think, because he knows how tired we are of hearing him rap about it. But we're gonna move on from that shit, because a large chunk of this album has Logic going in a completely different direction. I'm talking about doing some very generic radio rock, and also some more gentle piano-like ballads. So you got tracks like Pretty Young Girl, Supermarket, Best Friend, and I Love You Forever. These are just incredibly stale acoustic guitar-led tracks that also suffer from very sappy, cliche songwriting. Really does seem like he just threw the shit together and didn't put a lot of effort in. That doesn't make it any better if that's the case. I'm just throwing that out there. And there's even a track called Lemon Drop that sounds like the worst Red Hot Chili Peppers karaoke you would ever hear in your life, man. It is just very, very cringy. He didn't pull that off at all. And it really just seems like he listened to a bunch of rock albums, in particular some stuff from the 90s, and just tried to imitate it as best as he could. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you're a hip-hop reviewer. The only reason you don't like this is because of the sound he's going with. But it's not that, because as an 80s baby who came up in the 90s, I do have a soft spot for a lot of that rock and roll, some alternative stuff, in particular some of the 90s grunge stuff, so I know how good it can sound when it's done properly. You look at some of the artists who do this genre through and through, and they have great vocals, the songwriting is very strong, and they know what they're doing. This really just sounds like another instance of a rapper bringing rock elements into their project, not doing it well, and getting praised for it just because it's different. Well, you know, not everybody's praising it. I've seen some people praising it. Some people are saying pretty much the same thing that I'm saying. But my point is, if you're going to bring rock elements into hip-hop, it's really hard to do it properly, but some people are able to pull it off. I think Lil Sims in particular did it great on her last record, because we were getting lots of grungy guitars, some very aggressive vocal styles, but it all felt very organic and natural, whereas this just feels very forced and like a cheap imitation. So there's not much more to get into here. I did mention already how the songwriting throughout this is just very bad. Whether or not it goes along with the novel, I don't know, because I didn't read that shit and I don't plan on it. That doesn't make it any better, because as you listen through, it's a lot of that sappy, cliche, lovey-dovey stuff. He's not really giving any interesting spins or clever takes on that. I'm also going to say that his vocals just get boring very fast, man. I actually feel the same way about Logic singing as I do Drake singing. In low doses, I understand how well it can work on hooks or maybe on a verse here and there or a feature, but when much of the album like this one is singing, man oh man, the shit gets boring so fast, especially with some of these instrumentals that don't really go anywhere. Throw in the fact that you do get a couple of rapped verses sprinkled throughout, but even the bars and the rapped verses aren't anything great. This really just seems like a side project that was thrown together, and I think it's fair to say that because this is just a soundtrack to a book that he put out. So I can go with a pretty light 2 out of 5 here. I think the idea is cool to make a soundtrack with this book, and also just to try some different sounds, because hey, that's something I always say, man. I like to see people experiment and step outside of their comfort zone, but you still got to pull the shit off properly, and this to me is one of the worst projects I've heard all year, man. Was not a fan of some of these flat ass songs, flatter than some pancake ass, especially some of that acoustic guitar and these piano ballads, but that's all I'm going to say. So I'm sure you guys will let me know what you think in the comments section. If you like it, let me know why. If you don't, let me know why. You know how it goes, and make sure you do all that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love and you show me lots of it, man. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.